starter, and she was all excited.
Oh my god.
And so there was a few weeks at the beginning of the pandemic where we had just really awesome sourdough, but she got bored.
And the starter died?
The starter definitely died.
Got all hoochie and she...
Yeah.
Yeah. The hoochie, you can save it, but it smells like death, and it looks like something you should throw away.
Yeah, I think her thoughts were that she would go back to the lady. The lady said you can always come back, and
I'll take some of that starter.
And then she just, there it is. You kind of get into something, you get really excited about it, and you kind of get less excited about it, and it's still a lot of work.
Sorry, I'm using a little too much paper.
Oh, it's okay. Too much is better than anything else.
There we go.
The more protection, the better on this. And that is 1 elk quarter. And so I think this fella will eventually yield, by the end of it all, probably around 250 pounds. Nice. Big roast.
Oh, yeah, big guys.
250 pounds or so.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is also awesome because it allows you to be, once you have a lot of something, even if it's rare like this and special, it does allow you to be generous, and you can you can share with people, and you can cook big dinners, and you can give out packs of meat, and especially if you kill something that's even more attainable, like a pig, you don't feel so bad about giving away pork chops. And being able to share with people that actually like it, that's really something.
Yeah. Yeah, like my niece, I was an uncle at 3 years old. And,
oh yeah.
And my brother Ron.
Yeah.
And my niece Erica, she's lived in Alaska since she was I think 10 years old or something like that. And her husband and his whole family are big hunters. And they get these amazing kills up in Alaska.
Oh yeah.
And then they'll
yeah, if you're an Alaska resident, there's all sorts of cool stuff you could do.
And she'll send down halibut and moose.
Moose I've always wanted to try.
Moose is amazing.
Yeah.
My God. I love moose. It's so good.
Moose I heard is good. Caribou is good.
Mm-hmm. Have that too.
I understand black bear's good. I haven't had it.
Bear as well.
So what made you think about starting it up?
Starting up,
getting into something like this?
I've thought about it for a long time, but I read this book by this guy, Dr. Gundry, who's actually lives in Santa Barbara, so he's not far from us. He wrote a book called The Plant Paradox, and I have gotten. My brother Ron follows the diet that he prescribes through it, and his premise around it. So he was a doctor. He was a organ transplant doctor, and so he knows a thing or two about the body's ability to reject things, and he talks about the role of lectins in the inflammatory response of the body. Lectins are in pretty much are in any seeded seeded fruit or vegetable. And they're kind of like the defense mechanism for the plant. So, and the content of lectins in a plant will change based on whether it's in season or not. So, a green strawberry that's not ripe will have a higher lectin content than a red strawberry. It's a defense mechanism because it wants to be eaten when it's ripe, and so it will cause whatever that eats it to have an inflammatory response due to the higher lectin content, which leads to a whole host of problems for that animal. And there's other things like the citrus of leaky gut syndrome, all kinds of intestinal issues. And I guess long story short about that, I have prescribed that to some, and they've been having wonderful, positive responses to it. And I usually like to I usually like to do what I prescribe to my patients if I can, if it makes sense for me to do it, and so I'm going to, as we finish remodeling the kitchen, I'm going to try to do that for a few months with my own hypothesis and goals on it and kind of testing on myself just to see what that's like. And as you get into the various phases of the diet, you can have meat-based protein and seafood, but you need to have pastured meats. So they have to be grass-fed, grass-finished, natural, wild, preferably wild meats. So why not?
I sprayed like $750. That makes perfect sense.
Why not get into hunting and be able to provide my own meat so I don't have to feel like a tool going and standing in line at the butcher counter at Whole Foods every week, spending $140 on 3 dinners worth of primo food.
And that's usually what is a pretty big barrier for people. They typically say like that the reason that they eat poorly is one is the time, which is a problem, but you can always learn to use a slow cooker.
Right. I got a slow cooker.
Or Instant Pot now, which I have, but I've never used.
He is Dr. Gundry is a big fan of the Instant Pot because beans are a big part of the diet. And they do have lectin in them, but the slow cooker really helps to break that down.
Anything I think that gets people to cook will benefit them health-wise, if for nothing else, just because they're not eating again, a restaurant's working off a profit, so they're not going to give you the best ingredients unless it's a spectacular restaurant. But as far as cost goes, you would think that there's a money prohibition there somewhere, but if you've gone to Jack in the Box lately and tried to feed 3 people, and you're going to say that it costs more than buying organic chicken and a bunch of vegetables, like it's $30 for a bucket of KFC.
Yeah.
And it's delicious, obviously, but you feel like death afterwards.
Dude, I hardly ever eat fast food anymore. And yesterday, I was coming home, and Zena was like, hey, we've already eaten, so if you're out, you want to get something, just go get something. And for whatever reason, I was just like, I'm going to go to Wendy's and get my favorite Wendy's meal, get the home-style chicken sandwich and fries and a chocolate Frosty.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I ate it and I felt like shit. Terrible. I'm just like, I'm done.
As soon as you stop chewing.
I'm done. As soon as I'm done. Like just on the drive back home. 5-minute drive. I'm just like, garbage.
Yep.
Why did I eat that crap? So I wanna have better food. I have these firearms that I never use, and I don't like having them in my home, knowing that they just sit there and I never use them, and that I don't feel like I have a really good. I know my way around firearms, but I don't feel like an expert.
Oh, that's yours. Well,
thanks, man.
Marked is so special.
Wow. Well, this is going to be great.
There you go.
I'm going to put it right in my freezer because our kitchen's not done yet.
That's right. But when she's ready, you get that new Super Viking, then you will be styling.
Did I tell you what happened with I told you what happened with the wolf, right?
Yeah.
So the bummer on the wolf. So I got to get rid of that. But I did get that Viking.
Score?
I got it for $6.50 delivered. It had 15 years worth of grease inside of it. I scoured the shit out of it. It is beautiful. Got a wire wheel for my drill and took the whole griddle pan back down to shiny stainless steel again, which is great. Actually, I thank my contractor for that. He showed up with it this morning and he said, "Come on out and take a look at this." And it was like gleaming. And he did like a third of it. And I was like, "I'll take it from here. I want to do this," And that was nice of him.
Your Craigslist skills are pretty on point.
Oh, I am a master Craigslister. Cars, apartments, drums, sports equipment, computers, TVs, stereo equipment, hi-fi, record players. I've gotten so much stuff out there.
So we're adding a few things to your go bag.
Oh,
Goodie bag. So
yes.
So these are deer sticks. This is a breakfast sausage made out of the pig I shot last year.
Oh my goodness.
That's a shank, so you can do your own ossobuco.
Ooh.
So give that a try.
Okay.
And then of course the leg, and that way these are from the same deer. This is from last year's pig. This is from this year's elk. So you'll have plenty of opportunity to see if you really want to put a whole lot of money and a whole lot of time and a whole lot of thought into such an action.
Okay. Well, yeah. That's very nice of you, dude. Thank you.
Luckily this is one area where we are very fortunate. We're loaded at the moment, so
nice.
I can be generous with my friends.
Thanks, man.
My pleasure. Thanks for coming over, man.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
And thank you again for listening to the Thousand Tales podcast. I've been your host, Connor Logan, and it's been my sincere pleasure to have you on the show today. Please send this around if you've enjoyed it, and come back next week for another episode. Take care and be safe.